Hi, and welcome to Finextra at Cybos TV. And today we're talking to Giorgio Ferrero, who's chairman of the EBA Clearing company. And we're going to be talking about MyBank. So the EBA Clearing has issued a call for participation for financial institutions to take part in the MyBank pilot. So what are some of the compelling reasons why financial institutions and e-merchants should take part in this initiative?
But I would say that the real compelling reason is the fact that internet economy counts for roughly 2% of the global GDP. So this leads us to think that the way in which payments are made currently are moving more and more in the web space. So if we want to, if banks are willing to serve their customers in the evolution of this process, is key to have a solution that enable customers and enables banks to meet each other in that space. It's a way through which it's not just a defensive way. I mean, when we launched the EBA Day, probably the leitmotif was, okay, we should be concerned about the fact that there are other competitors, non-banks are jumping in. This is true, but it's also the chance for banks to make more money and to offer actually a really modular portfolio of payment solution enabled in the web thanks to this system of MyBank, which is in the end a bottom, yeah, but is e-authorization. It is not actually a new payment instrument. It's a new way, it's a solution which enables and which is able to trigger new payment, other payment schemes starting from the SEPA credit transfer, more than SEPA direct debit and so forth. On the other end, we must not forget that we were quite impressed about the positive response that we have received during this month.
It did. I was just about to say, the launch at EBA Day, it got a huge response from people at the show and people watching the Finextra site as well. Yeah.
It did, but that's all the market, all the different stakeholders are moving and interested in that. And this, in other words, is not only a way to create value for the bank industry, but also a way to respond to something which is needed by the customer themselves, being them merchants, being them customers that are willing to pay in secure manner in the web.
Yes, there's been a lot of interest. Of course, this type of service is needed, but how will MyBank actually work in practice?
I will try to give you a short, I hope to be able to succeed. When you buy something, if you wish to buy, for instance, a vacation, and you go to a website of your tourist operator, normally when it's time to pay, you see different icons on the bottom. You can find credit cards icons or other providers, and you will find also MyBank. You click on MyBank, and a string will appear, and you just put your name bank, so just a nickname of your bank, or few initial of your bank, and you are directly logged on to the online banking system of your bank. So you are directly linked to a secure environment where all your data are stored, and where basically you can make other payments as normally you do for paying other bills. So the user experience you have is exactly the same one you have today when you decide to operate through your bank and online banking payment service.
But I think it's that secure environment as well that's very attractive.
It's secure because your data are stored with all the possible level of security within the bank itself. There is no number of your account, credit card or whatever spread out in the web itself. And this has also been a value recognized not only by the consumer, but also by the merchants. And in addition, I would say that also those customers that like to use the online banking services of the bank, but are not used to go to the web because currently they are required to pay via cards or other means. We can attract also those, banks can attract also those customers. And this is a good thing, I would say. Taking into account that since the very beginning, we want to concentrate ourselves very much on the e-authorization of MyBank triggering a credit transfer, the SEPA credit transfer. But the project itself is designed in order to accommodate other payment schemes. So SDD is one, but also payments in the face-to-face environment, utilizing the same mechanics and leveraging on the new technology, mobile technology, such as phone, but iPad, tablets, you know, all that stuff. And I think that this is actually a big value of all of this. And give us the chance to the bank to exploit infrastructures that they have already in place without spending a big fortune in terms of investment.
Yeah,
and
that's very
particularly today,
that
money is.
So I want to wrap this up because I want to know, you know, internet shoppers in Europe, when will this be available for them?
Well, you know that we announced the consultation, we have made the consultation among the stakeholders was very successful, and even if last just 1 month and a half, and during the summer period, which is not an easy one, we received a very impressive, encouraging feedback. We have received, considering all stakeholders, when I talk about stakeholders, I mean banks, merchant, consumers, different entities, over 3,000 responses. And so this is a very good signal to proceed. We have in mind our project schedule foreseen having the pilot in place by May next year, and hopefully May 2012, and having the system fully running by the end of the year. As I said at the EBA day, I believe that is key for this communication, because everything new, even if is something useful, creates stress to different parties, must be understood, and the communication, I believe, it will be one of the key chapters in order to explain to everyone the advantages, and because this is actually a win-win operation for the benefit of the banks, of the customer, of the society.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you to you.
Thank you.